This is what you should see.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you see us?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't want you to see us yet.
They're waiting out to see us.
Hey.
The need for it, basically.
Facebook is getting this.
It may be there may be a delay, Facebook.
It is a bit of a
So y'all bear with us as y'all get that information. Some of you, depending on your network provider, is going to get this information faster than others.
Yeah, it's just
So y'all
2 seconds.
y'all bear with us. Thank you for that, Tanika. Ms. Tayon, do you want to introduce yourself and your connection?
I'm Tayon Ward. I'm really here just to listen and learn. I have opinions and I have certain views on feminism, and I know that there is a difference between white feminism versus being a woman of color dealing with feminism.
Awesome. And so we're going to also, if you guys bear with me a second, pop in a guest, Miss Angela Sanchez, who's an educator in our community and has deep roots in North Minneapolis community, is going to pop in and join us in this Facebook Live feed. So I will pop out for a moment as I'll let Tiffany introduce who we will be seeing at the end of the video, and kind of kick off the topic, and I'll spew out the first question.
So I'll wait to introduce the person at the video toward the end.
Okay.
And then I'll just kind of kick off the topic. So this topic is centered around feminism. I'm a feminist. And that tends to be a negative thing in the Black community, and so I don't think it necessarily has to be. And that's kind of why we're having this conversation. It's just kind of just because it needs to be had.
Right on.
That's right.
Right on. So the first question is, what is your definition of feminism from a Black woman's standpoint?
So I'll do it two ways. I'll do my broad definition of feminism.
Okay.
And so feminism across the board, without just Black women, just regardless of gender, is about everybody having an equal playing field. It's the same as any foundation for any of the isms. You want everybody to have an equal playing field and everybody to have the same access. So at the foundation, that's what feminism is about. Black feminism is about holding space particularly for Black women regarding the issues they face. Uniquely, we have to deal with racism and sexism at different levels than other women of color and other communities of color. And so Black feminism is just about the unique journey of Black women and touching on those issues that they have to deal with that a lot of other women don't face.
Right on. Right on, too. How about you, Ms. Nita Kellogg?
You know, I'm kind of here to learn about it too, because I've never really dived into what feminism is. So I'm glad you gave me that definition so that I can be educated on it.
Tiffany is definitely the expert in the room today.
And I'm still learning. I am by no means an expert. So this is a real part of my own personal journey, and so I'm still unpacking a lot of this. But I come from a very male-centered family, and so that journey led me to this place. Everybody's journey isn't the same. So this isn't about me being the expert. This is just me sharing my experience.
So say again. So it's about the journey of the Black woman and the experiences that she's had.
That are unique to Black women.
To Black women.
Yes.
Okay. Rock with that.
Yeah. So so one, I'm gonna give you this, and this just popped up in my head. So the natural hair community for Black women.
That's a good start.
Yes.
That's a good start.
I like it.
I am a proud curly, and the natural community was a need for us because for so long, and I'm going to speak from personal experience, I don't want to overgeneralize. I hated my natural hair, and I used to have really long hair, but without a perm, I hated it because I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know how to take care of it. I didn't know how to curl it. I didn't know how to take care of it. So I would wear weave. I would perm it. I would do all of the things that I could do to make it not nappy because I hate nappy. And then I discovered the natural hair movement, and I was like, oh, these women are happy. They are happy about their nappy hair, girl. And then she goes, and she just taught me how to do that, and she just taught. And if I could do all that with my hair, I'd have been happy about my hair.
Right on.
Add to that the fact that there are certain spaces where I can't go and wear my afro and be comfortable. Or if I walk into certain spaces, there are people who will look at me like, look at Sister Soldier over there. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we needed that space. We needed that space to hold each other up and say, girl, your hair is fine just the way it is. It doesn't have to be in a twist out. It can be in its natural state and you still be beautiful. Right. We needed that. Just recently, I saw something on Facebook about white women feeling comfortable with their natural hair. And I was like,
oh.
Okay.
That's interesting.
You don't need that space.
Okay.
So they own it.
Yeah, because the beauty standards are set around what you look like.
Right.
So your natural hair has always been perfect. In fact, I was told I had to change my natural hair to look more like you so I could fit in, so I could assimilate, so people would accept me. So you don't need that space. Like, you're okay. Your hair's a little frizzy, Kate, and that's fine. I don't mean to be this way.
All right.
But natural hair is
This is a conversation.
It's a sensitive topic.
This is a conversation.
But you've had that space. You've been good in that space. Now that we have the natural hair community, now you feel the need to say, well, we want to wear our natural hair too. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you haven't been beat down about your appearance. You haven't been beat down about your hair, your naps.
It's not a question of if they need a space for it. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, because they literally have been able to wear however and whatever they want to wear. And a lot of them wear our hairstyles, you know what I'm saying? So,
Exactly.
They wear the cornrows, they wear the dreads.
And told that they're cute. When some black women can't wear dreads. I remember the Army, there was a big deal in the Army about women having cornrows and micro dreads.
Well, we know that women have gone through, especially in corporate world, you know, getting fired behind wearing their natural hair, or you know, being ridiculed behind that to where they don't want to go to work. You know, so we know that is a huge issue. They know that that's a big issue. You know,
so that's just one of the ways that like that set of issues is different for black women.
Right.
Hair is a different issue for us.
Right.
As opposed to white women. So that's kind of like, that was just, I went on that tangent to show the difference in the things that we face as black women as opposed to what you see.
We appreciate
that's black feminism.
Yeah. One-on-one. Did y'all take notes? Did y'all take notes? How about you, Tanika?
My definition of feminism? My definition of feminism is attached feminism, is attached directly to just being human. Human rights. An equal playing field, doing unto others the way you would have others do unto you, treating people the way you want to be treated. I want an equal playing field. I want to feel empowered for who I am as a woman, as a black woman. I don't want to have to label it. I don't want to have to define it. I don't want to have to associate myself with a movement to be empowered. I want to just be who I am. I'm okay with being that square peg that doesn't fit into the wrong hole. And I want everyone to accept me for who I am as I accept you for who you are.
As a human.
As a human. That's my connection to feminism. I am a woman. I am a black woman. Yes, we know that's evident.
Right.
I have my struggles that are separate and apart from other women.
Right.
That's evident.
Right.
However, every time a woman, especially a woman of color, feels empowered, we have to associate it with something. Right. We have to be, and then what we always have to associate it with is something that always has been generated. The very base of it was never for us in the first place. Feminism was not for us. Feminism was not designed for us. Feminism, to a certain extent, can be directly tied to the destruction of the black household, the black home, removing our men out of our household. So therefore, that feminism isn't for me. I don't even know if feminism is a title that I want to own. All I know is that I'm empowered as a woman, as an individual, and I don't want to have to attach it to an ism or a social status or anything else in order to feel that way. So I'm trying to figure out, do I assimilate? Am I a part of? Or do I separate and be okay in my space? And that's my association and definition of feminism, is just being humane and treating people like equal playing field. Do I want to be paid the same as a man who does the exact same job? Absolutely. Why not? I'm doing the exact same job. It's evident that black women are graduating college with degrees at a rapid pace, much faster than our counterpart. We, for a number of years, I could say probably about the last 30 or 40 years, black women have put our communities on our back and carried it. Now, so yes, there are some organized socio-economic systems that have been put in place that put us in that position. However, we rose to the occasion and we did it.
Come on.
So therefore, as we always have. So it's not just about what the world sees. You know who I want to see me as? I want me to see as people? My counterpart. I want the black man to see me as his counterpart.
And there it is.
And there it is.
There it is.
Accept me and respect me for who I am, and respect for me for the role I play in our community.
Yeah.
So that's my definition. That's my
Shields
association.
on
Man, listen, this show is over. Did y'all get we're done. That's it. Did y'all drop the
Let's drop the box.
What you just described is black feminism.
It's
just your version of black feminism. I think you touched on something very important.
Right.
It's about what works for you.
Works for me. That's right.
That's
I can agree with that.
That's it.
And
it's about your feminism.
I was gonna say that because I think like the word feminism. Of course, I've heard it over my lifetime, but I didn't want to associate with that because I also heard that it was the when we were doing the black movement that the black women went with the white folks. I mean, with the white women to do whatever, and it really tore apart we left our men and the movement that we were doing to go to that. So when I heard that, I was like, I don't want nothing to do with none of that. I just want to be me.
That's right.
And define what this means for me.
That's
But understanding what the definition is.
That gets lost.
I don't even know the story.
So I will tell, like, you and I, because we love Asada.
That's right.
No.
That's
The story behind
that
that is the misogyny that those women were facing in those spaces with black men that pushed them over that line.
So what does that
mean?
mean?
Again, knowing that white feminism
What's
wasn't
misogyny? Help the sister out.
Misogyny is
Neither
the unique
is
oppression.
What?
This unique type of oppression that Black
Okay.
women face
That's right.
from Black men
Black men.
Okay.
That's
because
right.
of the circumstances we are all in.
Oh.
So
okay.
you mean like men, like Mr. from Of the Color Purple?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
And his daddy.
Yes.
Okay.
And
And
all,
Yes.
just about every other
Yes.
man
Yes.
in the
Yes.
whole
Yes.
movie.
Not the color purple. Nice one. Good job.
No, I'm just saying
Yes.
that's the mindset of those
Yes.
men.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because
That's
during those
precisely
times,
what it is.
Black women would get raped in public, and they would get beaten and raped behind closed doors
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
from Black men.
Okay.
So you have to that's what led to that. And so no, white feminism wasn't for us. It was about bringing us on board to help push their agenda.
Which they're just.
Because it's always
But I
strength in
think-
numbers.
I think
Yes.
Gotcha.
what we lose is now you have a movement where I think it's perfectly possible for Black women to shape their own movement from that.
Yeah.
I think people do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it has a negative connotation in our community because we're
I agree.
expected to take the entire community on our backs and uplift it. Feminism is about us saying, okay, hey, we're cool with uplifting all y'all, but we need some space.
Yeah.
Right.
And we need these things.
And Black women also carry their whole families on their back.
Yes.
Entire communities.
The
Yes.
Not just the
entire
families,
family.
our village.
Yes.
You know, and we know that there are some systems in place that have put us into that. I've said, as I reiterate. However, it's a given,
Yeah.
and we have, and we have continued, and until we learn to work with each other and stop looking for ways to separate each other, and I'm referring to our counterparts, because that's, like you said, the misogyny that we face, those derogative, negative connotations that are associated with feminism, strong Black woman, and all those other things. We get it more from our brothers than we get it from anybody else.
Yeah.
That's my challenge, and that's my challenge with the whole association. Because sometimes you don't want to associate with certain things like the ism of feminism because the derogative connotation, the backlash, and sometimes it's overwhelming. It's too much when you're just trying to be you, and when being you is doing so much. You're doing you, and it's for you and everyone around you, and then all of the energy that it takes to be a strong Black woman is looked at as something as derogatory or negative.
Right. We were talking earlier about often. We were talking often. You're often in spaces where you have to choose. Okay, am I going to defend my Blackness, or am I going to defend my womanhood? Which one is it today?
I'm going to defend both at all points in time.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Because you said that,
I shouldn't have to.
I'm going to throw a twist in because you said that. Imagine identifying yourself as also gay.
Exactly.
Black woman.
Because that gets
And woman.
lost.
Right.
Yes.
So I just want to throw that out there because you were going there.
Yep.
And I want that to be recognized that also is part of Black feminism and the
Yes.
struggle. And just because I said it doesn't mean that I don't love our counterparts. We love Black men.
Yes.
In order for feminism to actually
I
work,
really do.
we need men. We need men, right? We need men to get on board. You crazy.
That's right.
This is not the love connection. Okay. So
This conversation can go so many
Yeah.
Yes.
But it leads us into a bigger event that I hope you all guys stay tuned to. Let's Unpack, subscribe, because there's a bigger event coming where we're going to bring in our counterparts, those Black men. And it doesn't matter that how you identify, gay, lesbian, straight. The community needs to value and uphold our men, okay?
Yeah.
And especially our Black men. So
That's right.
plug for the next show.
That's right.
But to say still, though, this topic is very much important that everybody takes a part, because I agree with you. Being a feminist means being human.
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
being human means that all humans have to be a part of that movement
That's right.
in order for that movement to work. Right? So
And it's not just about women.
it is not just about women. It's about humanity, in fact.
And for me, before I actually sat down with you ladies today, and then I was thinking yesterday when Tiffany brought it up, I incorporated feminism with a woman wanting to be like equal to a man, like as far as like masculinity, or I can do your job in welding. Or as me as a woman, I opt out to do mechanic work.
I'm on your team.
Yeah,
I do not do manual labor.
I do not do manual labor. I would not like to. I don't. It's not an
Opt
interest.
out.
Right. I don't want to fix the door. I don't want to do carpentry. I don't want to cut the
It has
grass.
nothing to do with feminism.
Okay,
It has
so
nothing
Those
to
are
do with
roles.
feminism.
Those are
Those are roles
Gender
provided by your home.
Gender
Right.
roles.
Gender roles.
I wouldn't even
So
say they're
but
gender
they get-
roles.
but
They're just roles that people take part in your home.
That's right.
Because
And
your
you
daughter
define
could
what
take out
works.
the trash and
Yeah.
your son could mop the floor.
But I come
That's
from a
just
place
a
where
role.
they genderize.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They genderize
Absolutely.
them.
Yeah, the girls were to mop the floor, wash the dishes,
Clean the house.
clean
Right,
the house.
right.
The boys cleaned their room. They took the trash out.
They mowed
They
the
cut
lawn
the
and raked the
lawn.
leaves, or
Yeah.
not if you were one of mine.
Or
Right.
or not. Because my son does not
Like
clearly
that.
cut the grass.
Right.
Yes.
But here's the
Like,
thing:
where are these
those
kids that
things
mow
get
lawns?
mixed in together all the time in conversations like this.
Right.
Even when you look at the word chivalry, I've had conversations with our counterpart who don't feel that feels that if you feel empowered as a woman, that chivalry goes out the door. That means they shouldn't open the doors and they shouldn't
No.
treat you like a lady.
No.
Exactly. That because you are empowered and you
So
want
you shouldn't
equally-
treat me as a lady.
I have literally had conversations where the man has said, if you want the equality, then you can't have both.
But my
That's the
quality-
misogyny that we are facing.
Yes, and it's like
You can't have both. You can't be empowered as a woman and have
want me to
chivalry
treat you
and
like a
want me
lady.
to treat you like a lady.
like my quality should not dead my need for being a lady. Like that's
And
not
you
what
showing
that
me
means.
affection.
Like, we both should be able to bring in the same amount of cash flow.
Exactly.
I
And you
still
should
want
want
to be treated.
And pampered like a queen and spoiled.
And on top of that, I'm gonna treat you like the man of the house.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly.
So make me happy, I make you happy. We make each other
We
happy,
make
and
each
then we
other
all make the money together.
And we make the money together.
And our
Exactly.
bag is very, very, very heavy.
Yeah.
Go get the
And
bag.
everyone lives happily
Secure
ever
the
after.
bag.
Secure the bag.
Secure the bag.
You should want this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You should want this. You should
Isn't that what you
respect this.
consider wealth? Like
Yes.
family wealth?
Family wealth?
And that's what I mean.
That's what
when you think
establishes legacies, which
Legacy.
eradicates poverty.
Exactly.
So therefore, you
So
should
men
want that.
incorporate women being empowered as a woman trying to like wear the pants of the relationship. Or
I have had conversations. I won't say all men because I won't generalize, but I have had conversations with men feel strongly about it to the point where I have just said, you know what, we're going to have to agree to disagree and not continue this conversation. We're not getting anywhere.
Well, so, and you guys bring up a really good point. I think one thing I want to stress too is a lot of people think feminism and we think equal pay and equal rights.
yeah.
Come on, too.
But let's also talk about holding spaces where we talk about dealing with like abuse and all this,
Absolutely.
all of that
Okay.
stuff.
Because it comes
What
with
do you mean?
Domestic abuse, the sexualization, the over sexualization of Black girls, the criminalization of our girls.
Yes.
Because
You know,
Michelle
big on
has me.
it.
Yeah.
Good, ain't it?
well, you know, the term domestic abuse in itself was derived from spousal abuse, which was the man feeling that he owned his wife and that she was a part of his property and had the like you were his mule.
So those were the
You were the
mysteries, right?
workhorse. You were the mule. You had the right. If you weren't doing what he wanted you to do the way he wanted you to do it, you could take that beating because he owns you. So the word domestic abuse, those laws and things centered around that derive directly from the oppression of women, regardless of color.
Because he should come first in your household even before your children. That I just
You know, we was raised with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You make
He
his
got the
plate
big
first.
piece of chicken. That's right. He got the, and you can have the big piece of chicken. I don't like chicken backs and thighs.
My
anyway.
son may be looking at the big piece of chicken now since he's 17.
So I'm just saying,
I'm gonna just
right?
leave
I
that-
get it.
I'm gonna stay out of
But like words, like you said, domestic abuse, and in those spaces, those words all are centered around. And if we're going to use the term feminism, those are all direct chivalry, domestic abuse. All those things are all. I've had conversations that they all associate these things with feminists and feminism, and not understanding. So then you have the conversation that they directly tie us again back to topic with the original movement of feminism, which has actually evolved over the years. It started off as one thing and evolved to another, and then as times change and we get some things done, it changes to something else and goes on, as most movements do, you know. So then that's where the negative connotation comes, and then that's where they say that there's no place for it in our homes, and then they want to tell us that, you know, we didn't have the same challenges as the white women did at the point in time with feminists in the 60s when the feminist movement really picked up steam. Well, yes, we did. We did, because it was inhumane treatment. And it goes back to my original statement that we are all human, and it's fair treatment and equality, regardless of the ism that you want to associate it with. It all goes back to just being human, point blank, period.
So then I guess my question is, okay, so we've defined it.
Mhm.
We've had
For those of you just joining, we're talking about feminism versus black feminism. In other words, why feminism is not black feminism. And Tiffany Dykes is our lead on expert on this today,
Not
educating
expert.
she's taking the lead on educating
She's
the
very
rest of
passionate
us.
about
Yeah.
it.
I am very
For those of you who just joined in, thank you for joining.
So the
I'm sorry.
title,
Mhm.
the title of our show is "Why Can't We Say No
and not be angry.
and not be angry?" So let's dive into a little bit of that.
Mm.
Can you guys share how you feel about why can't we say no and not be angry?
Right.
So I think that came.
And how does
from-
that fit into feminism? I guess that's what I'm trying to.
Yeah, because I think it's the idea that only bitter Black women are feminists.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they hate me.
Oh, so why
Yeah,
can't we
which
say
is-
no?
oh,
and
Which
do
is
Yeah.
not
that?
true because I have sons, I
Yeah.
have brothers, I have a father, I date. Like I like men.
I
I
love them.
like them.
We really do.
Lord, y'all help me.
So that's
No.
not the
I
issue.
should have had a
I'll go home
social
with that
worker.
one. I really do.
That's not the issue. That's kind of where it came from. It's like, no, I'm not angry, and I'm a little perturbed by some of the treatment I'm seeing, by the way I'm seeing Black women being treated,
Mm.
and I'm a little perturbed about us not having certain things. But I'm not angry. I am motivated to change that.
Okay.
So what are some of the things that we're saying no to?
Whatever you want. I think that's the standpoint of feminism. As a Black woman, I should be able to say no to whatever the hell I want, and it not be a problem.
For example, let's say we'll use a workplace example. So I'm with my boss, and this is not good for but I have a boss. We'll say my boss is a man. I'm with my boss, and we're in the room, and I'm the only female, and I'm Black, and we'll just say I'm gay. And there are 4 other guys there. They're all heterosexual, and they're white. In fact, we'll make one of them Black.
Okay.
And instead of asking, and we all have equal playing field. We're all equally educated and equally skilled. And instead of asking maybe some of the guys to do a particular thing that may be uncomfortable for them,
Like
and
taking notes or something?
like taking notes or producing minutes after or getting coffee or right instead of
coffee is a good one.
oh yeah so instead of asking one of the guys, hey, can you run to get the coffee, you look right at me and go, hey, just can you go get the coffee, as if I'm less important or don't need the information or have no value to add to a conversation. Why can't I go, no, why can't Johnny go get the coffee?
Because the girls, you go get the coffee.
And I think it's in the video that we'll share after. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it for the live because it's acting up. I was just trying to get it to go through. But Chelsea talks about, and I'll tell you more about Chelsea later. But for right now, just roll with it, Chelsea.
Roll with it. folks.
Roll with it.
Chelsea talks about being the only woman in her work environment and going into the bathroom and finding out no one had cleaned the bathroom in weeks. And so she's like, okay.
It wasn't the bathroom.
It was the
It
bathroom.
was the bench, like right outside.
Oh, it was like, yeah, it was a sink or
like,
something.
Like the bench where they like eat lunch and stuff at.
And it had it was something. It had mildew. It was fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
it's okay. We're having a conversation.
Okay, all right, yes.
We're having a
This is what we
conversation.
So it's fucked up.
100% authentic.
It's fucked up. So she said she cleaned it but they assumed that because there's a woman in the house, she'll handle that, and nobody touched it. And then she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna spend the hour and a half busting this down and cleaning it like it needs to be, but
On
you're
the clock.
going to pay me for it on the clock because I'm not a maid, and that's not like we can all contribute to the cleanliness of the work environment.
Exactly.
I think that gender roles, the issue with gender roles, expecting that as a woman I'm going to do certain things.
Right.
As if there's a switch inside of me that when it was determined that I was going to be a woman, the dishes switch flipped up, and that just meant that I was going to wash dishes for the rest
And I'm
of
gonna iron your drawers for the rest of the
So Chelsea should have been able to say no, but y'all need to handle that.
Right.
Yeah.
And not be angry about it or not be looked at as being angry about being able to have a choice in the matter.
Or if she bringing it up and saying, oh, she's just being a crazy feminist.
Yeah.
She's a bitter woman.
She hates men. She hates men.
She hates me.
Yeah. And again, I just want to reiterate, feminism is not really feminine. I cannot say that. Thank you.
Feminine.
It is anyone.
Yes.
If you want a label, because I'm with you, y'all know I hop around labels. But if you need a label, anyone can be a feminist. Anyone.
I was talking to a Black male friend of mine this afternoon. He said, I don't understand how anybody who's pro-Black isn't pro-feminism. I don't understand that.
Because feminism, the Black feminist movement derives directly from the Civil Rights movement.
Yes. Absolutely.
So therefore, how anyone who is Black cannot support, I ain't saying you got to get on board. I ain't saying you got to be a part of.
No.
I'm just saying support me in my efforts.
Yeah.
To be able to live humane.
Yeah.
To be able to live humane. Exactly. In this world.
Yeah. I think to unpack that even more, I think the kind of the mind fuck in the community is that, so it's like for black men, and I think so there's some resentment, I feel like. Because it's like, well, you want me to talk about your equal access, and we all fighting for this access. We ain't got time for that. You got to prioritize this access over that access. And I think when you talk about how black women have been able to maneuver through these systems and succeed regardless of that, the resentment.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, y'all doing good. Y'all ain't got time for feminism. Come help us out. But, like, I can still do that and still uplift me and my sisters.
And I can uplift
and hold
you.
space. Right.
And I can uplift
We
you.
can do it all
Me
at the
being
same
strong
time.
does not make you weak.
Yeah.
Right. Say that again.
Oh, yeah, for real. So we
Say
make sure.
it one more
Say it.
time.
Look into the camera. Look
Me
right there.
being strong does not make you weak.
Come on.
Say that.
Amen.
If you own that, that's your association because that's not my mindset.
Right. Right.
So therefore, we just want to be able to navigate the systems that you should be supporting the fact somebody has to navigate these systems.
Right.
Somebody has to infiltrate these systems. If we're going to have an overcome, if we're going to ever get to the point as a people where we can literally say that we are treated equally within this country as a people, as a unit, not as women, not as men, not as black women, but as a unit, we have to overcome. And if we have the opportunities to put us in a position, allow us to maneuver that. Allow us, support us, push us a little bit. Because what we're going to do, we're coming back for you.
Yeah.
I will say at this point,
We're going to bring you along with us.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I would say at this
Feeling it.
point, I don't want support. I want you to go do your own work.
Yeah.
That's
Get
what I
out
need
there.
from you.
But we have to
work.
support each
Get
other.
out there.
I need
Do
you to
your
do your
work.
work.
Do your
I
work.
need you
Get
to
out
do
there.
because as long as you're doing your work and we're doing our work, we're always going to come together because that's
That's
what
right.
the journey is
Okay.
about. But I need black men to do their work. And I'm not talking about around economics. I'm talking around healing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on.
All right.
Come on.
That's right.
Toxic masculinity.
That's
Yeah.
right.
In the
Yeah.
black community and
Yes.
all of that. They need to unpack all of that. I don't need your support right now because I have my sisters.
Yeah.
My sisters support me, and that sustains me for right now. I'm not saying we don't ever need black men. Don't get me wrong.
Wow.
But right now, what is imperative for black men in their spaces, in my opinion, is their healing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their own
Absolutely.
work. There are conversations that they're not having.
Yeah.
Definitely that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think both of you guys are saying
Yeah.
some amazing stuff because they need the healing. Because I think we don't even have we don't have damn near as many boys groups as we do girls groups. And that's because a lot of men have not taken the damn time to unpack their shit.
That's right.
So
But
then
they were taught not to.
this is true. But now it's 27 fucking teams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know when you know better, you do better.
Exactly.
You have access.
Exactly.
You have access.
And we've been talking about it enough.
Yeah.
Enough.
For them to know that it's time to take some time to themselves and have some real conversations with themselves and them as a unit, and then support us in that. Let us know you supporting us because we're supporting you, and all of us getting it together so we can get these kids together, so then we can move everything forward. So I think both you guys are saying the same thing, but definitely that was shit. They need to, man.
Get
Yes.
that shit together.
Yes.
That's a whole nother topic. Get your shit together. Coming soon. Unless I'm
That was a little harsh. With my mindfulness hat on, we mean get your shit together in a loving way.
in a loving way.
Heal.
Right.
But it's real. Like,
Get your beautiful shit together. It's a perfect imperfection.
That's right.
Yeah.
the reality is that they haven't had that opportunity
Yeah.
to just take that time
Yeah.
to talk
Yeah.
amongst themselves about some of the things that has not been uplifting for them. But at some
Yeah.
point, just like we had to decide at some point that we needed to stop
Yeah.
and do some radical self-care,
Yeah.
they have to stop to do the radical self-care
Right
so
on.
that then we can
Right on.
come
Self-care.
together
Because it is very
and do some stuff together.
Right on.
But in the meantime, we don't have the opportunity for us to stop together. Somebody got to keep moving because
Oh yeah,
things are
this
gonna
is all
keep
while it's
perpetuating.
moving.
Right.
This is
Exactly.
all while it's moving.
It's all while it's moving, you know? And so I'm just saying, while you getting your stuff together, I won't say anything. Sorry. While you getting it, while you
But
are.
Sorry, but not
not really.
Sorry, not sorry. Apologize.
I just want to go on record again saying We love the black men.
This is
I don't want this to go way left.
We really do.
And you guys see the end of the video. Everybody on this panel, everybody at this table,
That's right.
love black men.
Love
This is
really
really authentically from
This
a
is
place
why
of
we're
love.
having this conversation
That's right.
because we love you.
Correct. All right, sorry about
And
that.
I'm not-
Just
we're
in
not
case
gonna-
somebody catches the tail
That
end
is
of the video.
But I want disclaimer. That is the last time we're gonna not all man. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
That-
we already told y'all we love y'all.
That's right. That's right.
So I guess too, let's move into some solutions.
That's right.
I was
There
just
we
getting ready
go.
to say, what do we want to hit home?
Yeah.
What do we want to leave?
What are we doing?
Right.
And then what would we suggest?
So I have been empowered by the conversations that I'm having with some black women in certain spaces. I would like to see that happen amongst black men. And I'm starting to see it happen amongst black men in very small numbers in certain spaces. So I like to see more of it.
On that note, I want to give Houston White a shout out because he's doing his thing over there
That's right.
with both the men and the women.
That's
and
right.
you know, so if you need a space, definitely look up Houston White over at H White's Men's Room.
The one thing I do, and I'm going to tell a story real quick to go with this example. So I got to do some work as part of the Giving Project where I come together with people from different race and class backgrounds. We raise money and then give it away to different organizations in the city that are run by people of color, for people of color. And so I got to spend some time with people from the Hmong community and had some insight on the work that they're doing. And so the idea of feminism in the Hmong community is huge because Hmong women face such a serious oppression in that community. Okay?
And
that's been
color.
perpetrated for years.
Yes.
And so now you're coming into a generation of Hmong women who have discovered this feminism and this social justice, and they're doing some radical work. And so I was at a site visit with an organization called Hmong Women Rising. It's called Noon Shia, and I probably murdered the word. I apologize if anybody's watching. But they were talking about how they do these intergenerational retreats. And the idea is they get men and women from different generations in the room, and they have the women tell the stories about what it was like growing up as women in that community, and they have men tell stories about what it was growing up like as men. And yes, that's exactly what it is. And the idea is that they don't know this. And I would say that in the black community too. I don't know what my brothers went through as black boys and black men growing up. Well, of course not. I'm a black woman, but I would argue that they don't know anything about what it was like to grow up as a black woman and the experiences I faced.
That's good.
And so I think black women don't feel heard, especially when it comes to feminism, and just in general. And I think we need to start hearing each other. I think we hear you, black men. I think black women prove that because we're on the front lines of every movement involving you, every one of them. But one-way love and support is for suckers.
That's right.
She said it. Yeah, she said it. I just looked up in years.
One-way love and support is for suckers.
And so is struggle love.
Ooh.
Ooh. Oh, she not just.
Ooh, that is. Ooh, coming soon. Struggle love.
The topic. You got that down? Got
That's
that down?
another one.
Struggle love.
But I think what you hear is us saying we're done with one-way love. We need some reciprocation. So I want that to hit home, that I need y'all to start listening to us and stop invalidating our feelings.
That's right. And I think to build on what you were saying, and also to elaborate on Nita saying what we're going to do for solutions, I think we're having those conversations with each other like we're having it today. And they're having some in small numbers. We won't even discuss numbers. If you're having the conversation, that's a start.
Yes.
So hopefully it'll reproduce itself with other opportunities. But we need to talk to each other as well. Communication works both ways. And as we are having these conversations as we segregate ourselves and having these conversations, at some point in time we need to all come to the table, because that's where the solution is going to come, when we start discussing these things with each other and start hearing each other, not just listening to each other, but hearing each other, understanding each other, having some empathy, even if you don't understand it. Just have some empathy for our plight.
That's key.
That's enough. That's enough for right now. We can accept empathy, even if you don't understand it, even if you don't support it. If you don't have that in you right now, just understand that this is something that we need for ourselves, and give us the gesture of just listening to us as we speak to you in regards to it, and not shutting it down because it speaks against what you already know. Because you can't learn anything until you hear it, and once you hear it, maybe you can understand it. And maybe if you learn to understand it, then that's maybe where the support comes. So even though we have these segregated conversations, at some point in time, I would love to see a holistic approach to the conversation. I know you said there's some things coming down.
I was just getting ready to say,
So
plug
right.
upcoming
I know
show.
you're trying, right,
Where
exactly.
we're going to bring everybody together to have a
Bring
conversation
everyone
very
to the
similar
table.
to this.
Bring everyone to the table, and then that's where the solutions are going to come from.
Right on. Right on.
All stakeholders should be at the table.
I like that. All stakeholders should be at the table. What would you like to leave us with, Ms. Ward?
1 second.
I don't.
We're live. We're live.
We're live.
I'm live.
Nita, what would you like to hit home?
She ready. She ready.
I'm feeling very empowered.
Only Black people.
Right. I'm feeling empowered though. I learned a lot. Radical self-care stuck with me. That's something that I've stepped more into, taking care of myself. Me being a single mom, I have teenagers. It's been a little bit topsy-turvy right now, but we're speaking life into that. We're going to see the other side of that. I'm learning more to uplift my sisters and not be so judgmental, because I can be judgmental. I'm human.
Right.
I'm human. And, it empowered me to furthermore walk in my truth.
I think I'm going to piggyback off of that. I think for myself, I'm at a space where I do love me because I went through Dr. Joy Lewis's Radical Self-Care Cohort. And so that's where I learned over the last probably 5 months how to make the space for myself. Being a community giver, it can be really heavy. And a mom of a 22-year-old and a teenager. You know, that weighs heavy. We do carry the community on our backs.
Yes.
And so I think standing in our own personal truths allows for us to not be so judgmental on the next woman or the next man in our community, because we are unpacking our own stuff and gaining more knowledge of the whys and the reasons as to why we've been in those spaces. And so once you own your truth and feel good about that, you can begin to not give other people space to own theirs. And so I would agree with just standing in our own truths and then being not so judgmental on others.
I appreciate all you guys in that input. Thank you all for contributing to this conversation. This was amazing. I learned a lot too today. I want to leave with some things every one of you guys said, and that is, one, we need to continue to have this conversation. I hope that you guys will stay tuned. There will be a piece where we have Chelsea, who identifies as a feminist, and you will definitely be interested in hearing some of the things she has to say in relation to some of the things that we had to say today. And then I hope that stirs you enough to have a conversation with your children, your husband, your neighbor, friends, teachers, and I hope that then we can find some solutions that start in your home first that will spill out into your community. And I hope you guys stay tuned, because the next few shows are going to be ridiculous. I can't give any inside information. However, we'll be marketing differently, so you will have some prep work. But it's going to be amazing. And I think that through those next few shows and the commitment of people to come together, we will find some solutions that we probably have not yet discovered for our own communities. For anybody who's watching, I saw that my cousin Dill was joined us today from Omaha.
Hi,
Shout out to the
Yes.
one. For you folks, I hope too that this is sparking conversation back home and energizing that community as well. Because Nita and I will be there next. Is it this month?
Yes, the end of this month.
The end of this month, and we're going impromptu live. I don't even know what the topic is going to be, but we're going to do something there at home to bring, with our families to connect Omaha to Minneapolis. So stay tuned. Thank you all again. Thank you all again. We appreciate you all. Have a great week. We'll see you in 2 weeks to Let's Unpack.
All right.